Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. Liana here, sex and relationship coach, sexual energy healer, shaman of the sexual and relationship specialist. Welcome back. Welcome back. So great to have you here. I'm going to talk about sacred sexuality in a relationship, creating that sacred sexuality. What does that mean? I'm so excited by this topic because for me, I've never really thought of the 23-year relationship that I had with my first husband as a sacred sexual experience. But over the last year, I've been listening to a lot about what people are talking about around sacred sexuality. And I realized that we had a very sacred sexual relationship. And I want to talk a little bit about what that is, how you develop that, what it does to you as a human being, and is it possible to replicate it or do it again after you've ended the one scenario. So welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please do just hit the subscribe button. It'd be awesome if you could join my tribe. First of all, I'm going to talk about a relationship that I was in before the relationship I'm in now. I've entered into a new relationship, and it's gone very deep already. I would say, because of my experience of my past relationship, which lasted for 23 years, I have already connected at a very sacred sexual kind of way with this person. I believe it takes time to create that connection with somebody, or at least it takes the ability for you to really let go, to really trust that person, really trust yourself in what you're doing and how you're doing it sexually. And you've had to have done quite a bit of work to get into that place of really feeling comfortable to go deeper into a sexual connection that is beyond this dimension, beyond just the physical. So with my first relationship that was 23 years, well, we had that opportunity to dive very, very deeply. And I was listening to one podcast a few nights ago, Sabrina Lynn actually, and she had talked about people that had been in sacred sexual relationships and asking them for something that they could offer that would really pave the way for others and give others an idea what it entailed. And she said that both couples said that it entailed a lot of deep, dark shadow work. And I agree completely. And I thought, wow, well, that's the relationship I had. We went into the deep, dark shadows of our beings, of our connection with each other, of our connection with each other in past lives, in other forms of consciousness. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what that means. And, I talk a lot about sexual exploration. This is part of the sexual exploration. And you enter in this as you open yourself up to exploring with your partner in a deeper sexual manner. And I'm not just talking about sex, threesomes, swinging, getting together with other couples. That's part of exploration and discovery of your own sexual being. But with each other, as you spend more time together, as you trust each other more, as you open up to allowing yourself to play out the desires that you feel, to play out these deeper, darker desires that you feel, and you can do it, and you're able to do it with your partner. You're able to do it with someone who really loves you and that you can trust to hold the space for you to play these out, for you to uncover them, for you to release them. This is where the sacred sexuality comes into play. So in my past relationship, we started the first 13, 14 years, we were exploratory with each other to a certain extent, but not in a sacred sexual way. We were still dealing with our own past relationships, with our own sexual beings, with our own blockages around sexuality, who we thought we were as sexual beings. He was trying to figure out like this bisexual aspect of himself. He's interested in guys. Should he do anything about it? What should he do? Is there something wrong with him? I was trying to figure out who I was as a woman in the sexual arena, as a mother, as a feminine being, as a wife. What did this mean? How could I express myself as a sexual being? And after he came out as bisexual and we decided to open our relationship, this is when, and it was for the next 10 years of our relationship, that we really dove into the sacred sexuality of our connection. We decided very clearly we were going to stay together, that we were going to work on being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Now, that's a very important aspect here, because you both feel, and both of us felt, different kinds of desires, different kinds of things would come up that we needed to play out, that we needed to investigate, that we needed to experiment with. And at times, the kinds of things that he wanted to do, I felt very uncomfortable about it. And I thought, oh no, I don't know, like this is a really strange territory. But I wanted to support him through his experimentation, and he needed me there in order to do that. And then I would also come up with things that really made him uncomfortable, but he also knew that this was part of the journey, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Okay, or you being uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, that's fine too. But eventually, being comfortable being uncomfortable, let's say, right? Being comfortable being uncomfortable, not shying away because I'm uncomfortable with what I've heard. I don't like that idea. That scares me. Okay, yes, I'm uncomfortable. Okay, it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to feel this sense of unease. And usually it was like something, because it was deep within inside of me, that I also felt, wow, like I have that feeling in, and that I need to investigate this. And we're so closely tied and connected that his desires were pulling out mine, and I was pulling out his. And that's how it became this deeply sacred sexual connection. Now, when we first met, we were very intimately sexually connected on a physical level, and at points we were transported into another completely different past life dimension, where we were in the Renaissance together as a couple, as not as a married couple, but as two people that were having a lot of intimate connection and having a lot of good sex and getting together. And we felt it, like we both felt it a number of times. And so when we got married, we had a Renaissance themed wedding, which was so comfortable for us. It felt at home, actually, because of that initial connection. Having kids, going through that whole stage, really kind of set us in a space where we had other things that we had to deal with. We had to deal with children, and that's an important part of life, and I wouldn't give that up for a second. You have to give out a different kind of energy when you have children, and you are able to connect with each other, but not like you can once your children become a little bit more independent. And that was around when our kids were around 10, 11, just starting to have sleepovers and becoming more independent a little bit, being able to take the bus by themselves. And this enabled us to have that freedom to do some other things that were more adult-like, and enabled us to start to explore and experiment deeper within our own sexual beings. So this kind of, once we were in that place, it was a wave. It was the wave that we started to ride. And anecdotally, we wanted to try some power games where he was the dominant and I was a submissive, as well as me being the dominant and him being the submissive, but going into kind of power games that we felt we were really connected with. So we played with a lot of those kinds of games together, really going deeply within them, really allowing ourselves to be those people, like be the submissive, really giving myself in a submissive way to him, and allowing him to be, you know, because I drop deeper into my submissive, or he drops deeper into his dominance, we are able to play deeper into that realm, and you find all sorts of things in there. Oh my God. Deep things that stir. He found a really deep connection to the church, which was a surprise, because he was Jewish. He had some deep past life kind of connection there, but some dark stuff going on there. I became very connected to, because I had spent time within my life in Japan as a teenager, and then again in university for a year. And I had I basically had a past life within this life, within the world of the Japanese, but I connected even deeper to that, to Japan. There's some connection within me, some deep seed that connected me, that string, that thread that held me to this geisha world, you know, this world of performing and being in service in an artistic, very artistic manner. And so that came out, and I could feel it in my body, and as well as, you know, other forms that started to take place within me, more dominant forms, kind of a variety of different things. So this happens when you are able to really drop in together. And I trusted him fully in supporting in whatever was going to come through my being. And at times, the intimate sexual connection was way beyond anywhere that we could have ever imagined. We were flying off into some completely different realm, completely connected to some massive oneness of everything that exploded our bodies. I felt at points that my body was not one form. It was completely, it had been completely obliterated into many parts, and not joined into one form, completely connected to everything else as everything else. So some very, very interesting experiences there. And the other thing that kept us going for that 23 years of exploration was that we also had deep love for each other. We had a deep love for witnessing our partner going through these transformations, going through the uncovering of the depth of the sexual. You know, there were times that were really, really difficult. There were times that when jealousy would come out in a really boiling manner. There were times when I just thought, oh my, I don't know if I can do this, if I can stay here. But I thought, yes, I want to explore this. I want to find out what this is all about. I want to go deeper into this orgasmic world, this orgasmic states. So I have come to understand that the exploration of the sexual is endless. Now, I've also listened to a podcast recently where she was asking, where are you on your, if there's a percentage line of exploration, percentage of exploration of the sexual, where are you on that line? And I thought, there is no line. There's no end. There's no end. I mean, some people are just starting out and just trying to figure out, or just wanting to start explore sexually. Some people are doing all sorts of things already. They're already like feeling like an awakened, expanded being. But there just seems to not be any end. And I would be very interested to know who has reached the end, if there is an end. And even for me, 23 years and 10 very deep years of exploration around the sexual, and then disengaging with that being, that man, because we were now going on our own direction and needing to explore separately, and now coming in a new relationship. And I find this with clients that I meet, just their new relationships, like wanting it to be so different and new. And it is going to be new and different. It cannot possibly replicate what you had. So it is rebuilding all over again and dealing with new nuances that come up, different kinds of blocks that you hadn't worked on from before, different kinds of things that they're dealing with that are new to you. You are new to them. You're diving in together in on a different, very, very different kind of journey. And so you have to be really patient with yourself, patient with your partner, and just allow it to unfold as it needs to unfold. As long as you are open and loving and very, very consciously aware of your feelings and of how your body is feeling and what your body is requiring to do on the steps, the kind of steps that it's requiring, that it wants to take. If you're really conscious of that, the two of you can just continue to unfold in this glorious unfolding of the sexual. Okay, where I am now is really deeply into this healing mode, the sexual healing, the whole body, which is where the sexual is, and the sexual energy being connected to our life force energy is a channel for healing, deep healing of every aspect of your being. So think about channeling and tapping into that. That's magic. That's here. That's possible for everybody. So I am experimenting deeply into that. I did just recently, some experimentation I did was the 1 month conscious pleasure month. That had a massive effect on me. I went through a death ceremony. I went through a birth. I started a new program for women called Wild Feminine Rising. Me and myself and 2 other women. I have some videos with them that I just finished that is all about bringing women together into a tribe, into a group, and leading them forward into uncovering the repression and the shame that they've been holding on to for so long, so that their feminine being can rise and soar and grow and expand and allow their sexual being to be part of them, to be fully integrated within their bodies, and therefore connecting to their desire and connecting to their intuition. So now they can begin to flow more with their life. They can begin to feel more. They can begin to connect more at a deeper level with their partners. They can help the masculine open as well as they're able to drop into their own feminine. So if you're a feminine being and you're interested in that program, please join my Wild Feminine Rising group, Facebook group. I would love to have you there. We are building that group, and within that we talk a lot about our intensive program coming up, and that is going to be absolutely transformationally amazing. If you know someone who might be really interested, send them my way as well. I would love to talk to them. Maybe your wife, maybe your partner, send them around to open them up sexually. If you've wanted to explore sexually and your partner, your wife, your girlfriend has been really terrified of that possibility, has been holding back for a long time because she doesn't know if this is right for her, how she should go about it, send her to my program. This is where we tap into that kind of stuff. We really look at who are we as sexual beings, and let's embrace this incredible power that we have here. Okay, let's embrace it and love it, and then we can allow it to be released, and then create strong, gorgeous connections in a sacred sexual kind of a way. So I'm going to be talking more about sacred sexuality. If you have any questions, please post them below. I'm really excited about this topic, and thank you so much for joining me. It's so beautiful to be here. please subscribe to my channel again and check out on my description. I have some free things that I offer. And again, the Wild Feminine Rising, come and join us in this rising of the gorgeous feminine energy. Okay, see you again next week. Much love making.